Ladies and gentlemen, federal employees, are you wanting to retire? Are you wanting to hang it up from the federal government and go to the next phase of your life, the golden years? Well, if that's true, here is a step-by-step plan on the things that if I was your financial planner, the things I would walk you through, the things you should be walking yourself through to make sure you can go into retirement smooth sailing. The worst thing you want is to retire and to realize you made mistakes, you're not prepared, and you got to go back to work. We don't want that to happen to you. So let's get into the good stuff. So the first thing, before we talk about anything else that you really have to understand is, are you eligible to retire? Now, why is that relevant? Well, as a federal employee, if you want to keep some of your core benefits, like your health insurance, get a pension, all those things, you have to be eligible for them. They don't just come, they have to be eligible. So are you eligible for the benefits that you want? That's question number one. Now, I'm not going to actually go into all the eligibility, blah, 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 how to get a pension, keep your health insurance. I'm not going to go into any of that, okay? We got plenty to cover in today's video. I'm not going to go into that as well. You can go check out my other videos that specialize in, okay, are you eligible? Are you going to get a pension, health insurance, etc., okay? But that's the first question to answer is, are you eligible for the type of retirement you want? Are you going to get a pension that's unreduced right away? Can you keep your health insurance? What other benefits do you want to keep? Life insurance, dental, vision, long-term care. What else do you want? What are you going to be able to take in retirement? That's the first question. Are you eligible for what you want? Number two, the next question is it enough money? Is it enough money to retire comfortably? Because at least for most people don't want to retire, realize there's not enough money there, and go back to work. So what are some rules of thumb? What are some things you can do to make sure you have enough money in retirement? Well, here are a couple things. First, you got to understand all the income you're going to have in retirement. And I know some of you are numbers people where this is super easy. You're like, okay, no problem. I'll just add everything up. I'll be good. And for some of you, this is terribly daunting, where you have no clue how to make sure you can afford to retire. And let me walk you through just the basics, okay? The principles. And the first thing is, write down the income sources you're going to have in retirement. Are you going to get a pension? Okay? Are you? That's the question. Are you? If so, how much is that going to be? I've got videos on calculating that. You can ask your HR for an estimate as well. Are you going to get the first supplement as well? If so, what's that going to be? Also, what about Social Security? Are you going to get that? How much is that going to be? When's that going to start? Also, TSP, investments. What other investments do you have? Do you have rental income? Do you have a military retirement? Do you have VA disability? What income do you have? Write it all down. That's step one, is know what income you're going to have. And this is sometimes the hard part, but it's worth doing, I promise. The next piece is figure out what deductions come out of each one. For example, when you take money from traditional TSP, you have to pay taxes. If you assume you take $20,000 out of traditional TSP and you get the entire $20,000, that's just not true. Taxes have to come out first. Same for Social Security. Most of the time, most people pay taxes on Social Security. Your pension, same thing. You got to pay taxes. And from your pension, things like health insurance, dental, vision, any of the insurance you want to take into retirement, you can keep most of the time, but you've got to pay for it. So what are the deductions that come out, and what will you actually be able to keep after these income sources are reduced by their deductions, okay? Those are the big questions to answer. And I've got whole videos on each one of these, so you can go check those out if you'd like. However, that's the first step. If we haven't done that yet, it's hard to move any further. Please do what it takes to get that done. Get a pension estimate. Go to Social Security Administration's website, ssa.gov. Get a Social Security statement. It'll give you an estimate of the gross amount, okay? Look at TSP. Now, one thing on TSP, a way to estimate how much that can provide for you is using the 4% rule. So if we take whatever balance you have in TSP or any investments you have and multiply it by 4%. So if you have $1 million, that's $1 million multiplied by 4% is $40,000. So $1 million can conservatively provide $40,000 a year of income for the rest of your life. That's the idea. I've got videos on the 4% rule if you want to know more. But that's how you can estimate, okay, what income am I going to have in retirement? That's step one. Once you know what income you're going to have in retirement, how do you know if that's going to be enough? That's the question. And this is how we like to figure it out. look at your leave and earnings statement, LES. Look at it. What does a normal paycheck look like for you? Like right now, actually, your gross pay may be $120,000, $200,000, $80,000, whatever it is. How much do you actually take home every 2 weeks? After all deductions, after saving into CSP, taxes, health insurance, Social Security, everything, what are you left with? Let's say it's $2,000 every 2 weeks. That's what you're actually taking home every 2 weeks. Okay, great. How do we figure? Basically, we want to change that to a monthly number. A monthly number, because retirement income generally is monthly. Like your pension is monthly, Social Security is monthly, for a supplement monthly, everything's monthly in retirement. So we want to change a every 2 week number to a monthly number. And what you want to do is you multiply this by 26 because you get paid 26 times a year, and that gets you the yearly amount that you actually take home, and then divide it by 12. And that'll get you the monthly amount you actually take home now. Okay? So please do that. Let's say, I haven't done the math beforehand, but let's say this comes out to, let's say, $5,200. Okay? And that's probably a little high, but let's say it does. Let's say every month you actually bring home $5,200 once you change your bi-weekly pay into a monthly pay. Well, then for most people, the goal is, okay, how do I replace $5,200 in retirement? Actual take home. What's my pension going to be after deductions? What's my Social Security going to be? TSP, etc. And if you can replace that, most people are happy with that. Not everyone. Some people have different goals, but that's a way to approach. Are you knowing if you can afford to retire? And this step can take a while, trying to figure it out, but please, please, please do it. It's so, so worth it. You have to understand your numbers if you want to have a comfortable retirement. Okay, now that the numbers are ready, now that you say, look, I can afford to retire, the next question is, are you ready to retire? Like emotionally and spiritually and all the other ways other than financially, right? Socially. What are you going to do if you're not working? What are you going to spend your time doing? Are you ready in every other area of your life to retire? And sometimes the answer is yes, sometimes the answer is no. Those are much more gray and fuzzy. They're very important, but they're harder to put in numbers, so I'm not going to go into it much. Okay, you got to work those out personally and figure it out for yourself. Are you ready emotionally, spiritually, blah, 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 in all those ways, okay? Figure it out. Now, once you have done that, then really the clock starts ticking, where you got to pick a retirement date. And I've got videos on picking a good retirement date. There's pros and cons depending on what you pick. And then soon enough, you're going to be working on the retirement application. And this application normally happens between 4 and 6 months before your retirement date. That's normally when it happens. Talk to your HR and they'll be able to work with you on the application, but that's normally when it happens. And the retirement application is where you make huge decisions about your retirement benefits. Things like survivor benefits on your pension, what to do with your insurance, a bunch of things are decided on that application. So you want to make sure you do it correctly. You want to make sure that you go through it slowly, very thoroughly, and you understand what decisions you're making. If you're at a section on the application that you don't understand, please stop and ask somebody, whether it's a financial planner like us, we help clients with this all the time, or with your HR, whatever. Stop and make sure you understand what you're doing before you just start checking boxes, because many of these decisions on the application are irrevocable. Irrevocable, meaning you can't say, oopsies, I got it wrong, I want to change it. A lot of these things you can't change. So please make sure you do it right. Okay, that's the short answer. Now, last but not least, if you are planning for retirement, you have to understand the timeline of what to expect in retirement and before retirement. Okay, so now keep in mind, with everything going on with OPM, OPM is the HR of retirement in the government. With everything going on with OPM right now, I don't know what the lead times are going to be. I do not. This is a crazy year. But what I will run you through is what things have been, at least previously, averages, okay? Let me run you through what you probably can expect. But again, this year could be a weird one. We don't know, okay? We don't know. I've seen a lot of people retire all up to this point so far, and overall things have been pretty normal-ish on just the timeline on how long things take. So let me walk you through it. Basically, let's say that this right here today is your retirement date, okay? Boom, you retire. This is your retirement date. It takes normally a pay period or two for you to get paid out your annual leave. your annual leave, okay? So if you have any unused annual leave at retirement, they're going to cut you a check for that when you retire, which is great. We love that, right? So if you have 200 hours of annual leave, they'll cut you a check for what they basically look at. What if you had actually worked that time, and they'll cut you a check for that time, which is great. Again, that takes a pay period or two to actually get to you. After that, the next thing to happen normally is TSP access. It normally takes TSP about 6 weeks or so to know you're retired. Now, sometimes I've seen this quicker, but I would just plan about 6 weeks or so. Once TSP knows you are retired, you can take withdrawals, move to an IRA, etc., based on what you want to do at that point. But before they know you're retired, it can be harder to get anything done with TSP. After that, the next thing to normally happen is you first hear from OPM. And this happens normally between a month and 3 months, so it can vary. It could certainly vary. But you'll first hear from OPM, and OPM will basically say, look, we received your application. We haven't finished it yet, but we've received it, and here's this rep working on it. Here's a token to make a online login, that sort of thing, right? They'll reach out during this time. And once they've processed your application enough to know that you are eligible, they're going to start paying you what they call interim payments. Basically, it's a payment that's not your full pension yet. It's a piece of it, normally about 60 to 80% of your full pension, while they're processing the rest of it. Now, OPM is going through a lot of technical changes in how they process things, so this could be different in the future, but that's, again, this is, as of recording, this is how it currently works, okay? And again, the interim payment starts anywhere from a month to 3 months into retirement. Your full pension, on average, we see it normally takes 3 to 6 months. 3 to 6 months to start receiving your full pension. And once they've processed everything to start paying your full pension out, they'll look back and say, okay, what did we miss? What months did we miss? What months did we pay you a partial payment? Well, let's give you the difference. What months did we give you no payments? Let's give you that. They'll pay you back for everything they missed. It just takes a while for them to do so. The reason I bring all this up is to know that you need some money to get you through this time, okay? If you have no cash in the bank, no savings, it can be very painful while you wait for these things to happen. You need some money to ride through some of this craziness. Ride through the delay that your pension will be. It just normally takes a little bit. So either you got to have some cash in the bank, very healthy annual leave to get a payout to ride you through, or start tapping TSP pretty quickly 6 weeks into retirement. So those are the things that I would go through if you're planning for retirement. Are you eligible? Can you afford it? Are you ready emotionally? Make sure you know the dynamics of the application and the timeline. Make sure you're prepared for all that. So if you have questions, stick it in the comments below. There's tons of retirees that watch our channel, so if you want to hear from them, I'm sure they'll share their own experience, so please do so if you already retired. What was it like for you? What was the timeline? What did you do to make sure you're prepared? Share with the community, and we all will learn and get better together. I'll see you guys in the next video.